You wrote a book at the age of 18. Firstly, tell us about the book. It's called Deep into Reality, by the way, and then we can tag it, add it in the description if anyone wants to check it out. Uh, Tell us about that book, and tell us also about what prompted you to write a book at the age of 18.
So the time when I wrote book was COVID time. It's like class 12, school was getting really busy and tensing. People didn't know how to deal with COVID. India basically class 12 is a board year that's more pressurizing. So it's like there's nothing to do, things are just piling up, and I really want to do something. And then there's this time when I realized that there's real need of women empowerment. People just keep on talking about equality everywhere. Like everybody is like it feels so fancy when you talk about equality and everything. Organizations often promise about equality, but when you actually go and see places, there are very few places that actually practice equality. It's very easy to state that we treat people equally, but when you actually go and step into organizations, it's basically like people just like, maybe because a man is a little bit year or more senior than a female employee, even when females are performing better, it's usually seen that males are getting more promoted than females are at this time. However, now times are changing where there's a lot of changes everywhere, females are growing equally. But like that time it really hit me hard that how can you just be like, you just talk about equality everywhere, you just like, and then when you go to see in actual life, things aren't even practiced the way people are saying.
Did you see a difference in India and Canada from that perspective, equality for men and women?
Yeah, I think India women are more perceived, or rather were more perceived to be more of homemakers, or who basically make sure that your households are running fine. But now even there things are changing. But for here, what I see is like people just want to balance families. So here it doesn't really matter who's making up with the family. Everybody has to pull in their shares. So rather, whoever, like even kids have to start working at the age of
Yeah.
16, no matter what, how good a family you come from here. But like you basically have to work and make sure that you're paying off for your own expenses. So the major difference I see here is like, here, there's nothing like gender, there's nothing like age. Everybody is working. Even a 60-year-old lady does the same work that a 16-year-old is
Yes.
doing.
Yeah. Perhaps a lot for or people can learn this from back from our society, from Pakistan and India, how this differentiates and how they help the economy. So, how does it is the book related to women empowerment or equal opportunity for women?
Yeah, a lot of it is focused on women empowerment, but like then there's a part of poems that even focuses on equality, gender equality, basically. Like I think the book is compilation of 15 poems. Out of 15, I think 7 poems are such poems that talk about women empowerment, and the remaining ones talk about just equality.
So, all of them are poems.
Yeah, them
15
are poems.
long 15 long poems.
Yes, it's just an anthology of poems. So,
Can you share your favorite one?
uh,
Or just like the basic idea around it? Obviously, you wouldn't remember it by heart. Do you have your book with you?
I don't. I'm not sitting with the book here with
No
me, but
worries,
it's
no
just
worries. You,
the favorite part of the book that I've written is where I talk about a small love story, how it started from an organization where
tell us, tell
where there's
us.
a lot of, yeah, where there's a lot of inequality in that organization, and female tried to raise her voice, but like no one supported her. Everybody was just trying to mock at her, saying she's having a lot of fantasy, she's fantasizing herself, and all that. And then there's this man who walks up to her, and then he supports her, and then eventually they fall in love, and they end up, he helps her getting rights and everything, and they end up in a better place. And that's the
Interesting.
So, in your own words, can you explain the difference between empowerment and equality?
For me, empowerment comes with equality when you treated equally, where there's no difference, or when no, like when people see you equally able to perform tasks as man and not classify tasks as this is just supposed to be done by women, or this is just supposed to be done by males, but where responsibilities are equally shared is where empowerment comes in for me. Because when you get your own rights and your own respect, you automatically get empowered, and society just starts perceiving you as a stronger personality.
So, I mean, you did share a brief preface as to what, or as to why you wrote the book. Can you give us maybe like a certain context as to your phase in life which prompted you to write the book? Like, if I were to rephrase this, did something occur to you personally as well, or to a loved one, or to a friend that basically just gave you this prompt?
So for me, when I talk about this topic, it's like my childhood years of schooling, I have grown up with like a fixed bunch of 10 friends of mine. And out of those, all nine were males, and I was only the female in that class. So, like, right from my class 1 to until my class 10, I've just grown with those constant 10 bunch of people.
Yeah.
And for me, like there was, because I just grew with them, I just played with them, just spent majority of my school time with them. So whatever I learned, whatever I did, is like never perceived as something that a female can't do. Because for me to stay in the class, to prove myself, to remain in that bunch of competition, for me it was very important that I start surviving through it. And
Hmm.
I just don't step back or just taking an advantage of me being a girl and just not doing certain things. For me, there was this time when I started playing soccer, football, volleyball with all these friends of mine. And I used to be a good defender and a goalkeeper in school. There used to be fights for me for having me in that team. Like whenever someone wants, always me. So it's like, if this can happen, everything can happen. If females can just handle bunch of nine guys, there's nothing else that you really want to do. Like you really I started understanding how people think, how boys think and everything. Just started playing with them, spending majority of my time. There's this time in school when my mom was called to school and she was just asked to pat her on back for me allowing me to stay with those people, because usually people are like, she's only the girl, I don't want her to stay in the same school, and probably change me to some other school.
Hmm.
And I was used as an example for people in school saying, just learn to be like her. She's just been doing everything that a guy can do. So, like, why, if I can do it, like, everybody can do it. There's nothing that females cannot do. And at the age of like 10, 12 years, what do you really understand about what's going on around you? So, without even having so much understanding, if I can do so much, then like everybody can just do it. And then that's when it hit me that, it's really important for people to perceive themselves equally and see themselves equally and not consider them lower than anybody else.
But did you have like an incident, a specific incident where you saw that women were considered inferior or were being suppressed or weren't getting equal opportunity, which really sparked that thought that no, I need to do something about this, and then you went on to write the book?
I didn't really see it, but like when it came to younger sections of my school, it was just like people were like, I'm a girl, I cannot do this, or I'm a boy, I won't go and do this. And like, how does task define you by gender, or your gender defining you by not doing some task?
So, do you think like this mentality is already embedded in the mindset of women as well, as much as it is in the society, and that also plays a role?
I think yes, for India now things are changing, but like what I have seen or what I've been noticing while I was growing is, for in the Indian families, women are just supposed to be in the house, maintain households, grow children up, and that's all that women is supposed to do. And how man is defined is the person who earns for the family and supports family financially. There's nothing else that men is supposed to do. Men is not supposed to go and help in the kitchen. Women is not supposed to go and help in the business. However, things are changing now. Women has started going into business and everything. But while I was growing, this is what I have been like just seeing. Like when guests come at your home, you have a son and a daughter. Daughter will come and serve glass of water to guests, and your son is not supposed to do it just because he's a boy.
Yeah, these stigmas and these things are very prevalent, especially in not the modern part of our society, but the more traditional side, which is the majority of it. But like I also think I always go back to primal times, and like the if you look at the primal times, woman's job was to love and nurture, and a man's job was to protect and provide. And through evolution they've played a certain role, which in the modern society also partly plays a role. And now it's not like a woman's only job is to love and nurture and a man's only job is to protect and provide. That is something innate and primal to them. But you do see men loving and nurturing as well, and you do see women protecting and providing as well, which is like going into business and stuff. And men actually, like, if men aren't going down that route of loving and nurturing, and they're just in their pure masculine element, it's called, they refer to as masculine toxicity, right? So I guess the roles have changed, but you can't take away the innate primal instinct within a man and a woman and what they are. As much as you might go and work as well and earn and do those things, like, loving and nurturing is something very innate to you. And I think it's about finding the right balance, and it's also about embracing the traditional innate side in you, but also accepting what is changing in the society and,
Right.
modernize.
Yeah, I think now it's more kind of having a culture of shared responsibilities where the basics
I
still
agree.
remain, but like responsibilities of household is equally shared between both of them now.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
So, just out of curiosity, you mentioned that you had a group of friends over where there were nine guys and the only female was you. So, moving on from school and into uni or probably college, did that change, or were you always someone who got along with boys more? And I mean, I also have some friends who, like, for me and Parmeet as well, we can say that we get along with most of our female friends rather than our male friends.
I have a lot of guy friends as well, but Anas
Yeah.
only has female friends in Dubai, especially.
So yeah, so for you, how did it change, or is this still like a predicament that you still find yourself in?
I think for me it did change after class 10 because I changed my school after that because my older school was only until class 10. So for class 11 and 12, I did change my school. And class 11 was the very first time when I had my own bunch of girlfriends, that what you call, like, and I did find, and the funniest part was I made friends with two other Khushis when I went in the class, like when I went to new school. So we were always bunch of three Khushis roaming around in the school, doing our own stuff. Even when one of us was called, all three of us used to turn and see which one out of us is called. It's like funniest part, but no.
Right.
We also
So
have a friend named Khushi, so there's a
yes.
lot of we also shout out
Yeah.
Khushi from Karachi. Oh,
So, yeah, I mean, so since having those female friends and having this learning that you've had, especially writing a book, have you been able to share your thoughts and your thought process with them? And not only with those friends as well, but like other female in your family as well.
Yes, I've been very open in my communication and about whatever I think. But for me, it's like I wouldn't go and talk to people I don't really know unless I know that how that person is going to perceive me to be. So for me, I'm like more close to my own parents and my grandparents and my dad's brother and brother-in-law and them. So like I just talk to a bunch of people who very close to me about certain things. I won't go and approach everybody in the family and talk about it. And also when I'm talking to all these people, every one of us has a very different thought process because my parents are like more open-minded and like changing with times into the society now. So I'm like very comfortable discussing certain things with them and I try to explain them things. And the way we stay in house is very different than how my grandparents and my dad's older brother stay. So with them, there are like very limited topics that you can actually talk about. To them, I can't really go and tell them that there's equality, there's
yeah, they
women
come from a
are
different generation.
exactly. So I'm gonna be like shoot out or just going
So
to get
maybe like
yelled at.
out of respect, you wouldn't like go into a more detailed conversation with them.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But like when it comes to friends, for friends, I'm like I've always had kind of people that I vibe with. So I would usually go and
Hmm.
chill with people who are like very similar to my kind. So we haven't even had a chance to talk about like these things evidently. but like kind of conversations we have, or like when we just go out or when
Hmm.
just hanging out, do certain things just define us as in person, like our personalities overall.
Hmm.
Have they been able to read your book?
Yeah, all of them have, yeah.
And what, like, I mean, if they were to give you a review, or have you ever taken reviews from them? How was that like?
You know, they were kind of really shocked when because I never told them that I'm writing a book. I had this thing, like
How long
writing
was
it.
that process of writing
I
it?
think it took me like 6, 7 months before I published. I sent my first draft to the
Publisher.
publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, after I sent my first draft, there were a couple of editing. They wanted me to do certain things. I didn't want to do certain things. So it's just like mediating stuff. And then after
Yeah.
I
Back
submitted
and
the
forth.
final copy, it was like
Mm.
a journey of almost like 9, 10 months before the final copy got published. But like I never told them in like such a long time that I'm doing something of this
Mm.
sort. I just wanted to keep a surprise and see how they react if they find out something new about me.
And yeah,
So
how
I
were
just
the reviews then?
all of them are very happy that they're in kind of my personal influencers or marketers or whatever
Ah,
you call them. Or like
amazing.
they just yeah,
So
they're
that
so
means
nice.
the message was taken in a positive light, right?
Hmm, yeah, yeah.
Amazing.